So like with all that, I was like, why do people do this thing? And then Tara was like she told me because she like teaches this to like actual parents. I'm like, oh, I had no idea. She took like a certification in this, and then she was like, well, don't teach anyone because like you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm like,
Right.
you know what? I'm just do whatever I want, bro. You know, share the information. Like, all right, don't take any of this as like doctor advice. If you
Right.
want like the actual accurate thing, this is more of my interpretation of the thing because she was like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't teach it because you're not a doctor. I'm like, you're right. So here we go. So I actually wrote it down. I had it as a thing, like my papers, because I was literally taking notes as she was speaking. I'm like, okay, that's how that's made. Okay, cool. All right. So it comes from cognitive behavioral therapy. Do you know what CBT is?
Remind me. It's been a while
Okay,
since I've heard that
so
term.
s- right. So Tara took like the CBT course and like it's all about it's this new wave of therapy where usually people tell you like you go to a therapist, you're like, oh, this is my problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, that sucks. And you usually like emotionally vomit the thing, right? But there's a new thing called cognitive behavioral therapy where they're not even doing that. They're actually just restructuring your whole wiring through behavior. Okay. And it's so effective. It's like if you're afraid of needles, there's like steps you can take through CBT, whatever, whatever. And it's just built off a simple triangle of emotion, thought, and behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It just, that's all it is. So emotions, you, you can never stop an emotion. It's an innate response. And when she told me that, I was like, that's why I always say if I meet the Buddha, like dude, this is Buddha, I'm slapping him in the face. And people are like, why do you say that? I'm like, no, I'm going to show you that you can't escape your emotion, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a knee jerk response, right? Like fear, all those things, knee jerk response, 100% uncontrollable. Then you have thoughts. The first two thoughts that you think are uncontrollable, but your third, fourth, fifth, sixth can be controlled. So, like, once you have an emotion, it creates a thought. And that's just automatic, right? Automatic emotion, automatic thought. But then you can start to, like, layer thoughts
Mm-hmm.
on top of that, okay? So you have 80% control, but you have 80%, 20% control, 0% control of motion, 20% control of thoughts, something like that. And you have 100% control over your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's where CBT's magic comes in because what they do is they restructure your behavior so that it'll affect your emotion and then affect your thought. See how it's like a triangle? It just keeps spinning over and over. So, like, we can't control emotion. We can kind of control thoughts, but we can 100% control behavior. And that's why they're like, just do like a small thing, like the step in that, right? Like, I'm afraid of needles. Okay, cool. Just book the appointment, bro. So,
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
right, cool.
Right.
I can affect that, you know? And like, just by focusing on what you can affect, like exposure therapy, right? Like, okay, now get the numbing, get the injection. Oh, it didn't hurt, right? All right, let's try again, bro. Okay, yeah, numbing, and, you know, and then over time, I won't get that knee jerk response of fear towards the needle because I know that it doesn't hurt because I use numbing cream, right?
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the whole key to this entire thing, and this is why people are stuck, because they run that loop over and over, is
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have the awareness of their thought. They don't have awareness that this whole programming is running it all.
Right.
Like 90% of people just run an autopilot. And that's why you get those things like, oh, I want to be when you grow up. It's like, for me, I've already just broken the cycle. I'm like, well, I'll just do it, you know? I'll just
Yeah,
affect
yeah, yeah.
behavior.
Right.
But most people just running the loop, you know? So like, and then that got me thinking, like, how much of society is just running loops?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, that's
It's
trippy though,
true.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then are we just like a hive loop?
Well, yeah. I
You know what I mean?
mean, yeah. I would say majority of the world is reactive, right?
Right, because they don't have the awareness.
Yeah.
Like you just don't know that this is happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I was like talking to Tara about because we had a whole podcast like you and I about enlightenment understood, and I was saying like enlightenment is literally just understanding that you have a mind, like no realizing you have
Mm-hmm.
a mind, because then everything stems from there. You can break out of the loop
Right.
once you realize that. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
people
yeah.
are always like trying to think about because like even when I was like telling her this, like when we went to Thailand, and then I asked those monks like, "What is enlightenment?" And I'm like reading about in books like an enlightened being is able to float and like, you're like, no, what? Okay, so I can do some tricks, like, you know what I mean? But it's like if you like boil it all the way down, it's really just like realizing you have a mind,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Mm-hmm.
How many people know that that's a thing? You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
sounds so simple,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Osho, like so Tara teaches that to a lot of people, and then they're always blown away. And then she's like, um, you're not your thoughts. You're just like you can just watch your thought, right? And I was like, oh, Osho has the best line for this. It was like in his The Path of Yoga book by Osho. He's like, it's like the sky, the blue behind the clouds are like your thoughts, and then the blue behind it is your consciousness. You're able to just like watch them pass,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But if you're enlightening people this all the time, it's like why didn't we just bake that in from day one? You know what I mean? And that's why I like the work Tara's doing because like with the little kids, she's like teaching them this, and then
Mm-hmm.
the parents are like enlightened too. And it's like a double whammy because now the kids know it at a young age, and then the parents know it, and then like they grow into like consciously aware beings.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I mean, just consciously
Mm-hmm.
aware. Just like, hey man, I'm aware of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know what do you think.
I think. Uh, I mean, I don't know, but it could be that what is that caused us to separate or not understand this concept. Um, I wonder if that's all due to religion, because majority of the population is religious, right? And
Oh, dude.
if
Okay,
if
yeah,
that's
keep
the
going.
case, right, like where there's no focus on the mind or that the separation of that, like that's none of that's really being taught, and that's stuff that you're being taught through childhood, right? That's the religious stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're not, if that's the basis or the foundation that a lot of the world is following, so that's why like a lot of people don't know about these things.
Okay, 100%. So, I was listening to Billy Carson with this guy. I can't remember who he was. He's like this boxer, and they're talking
Mm-hmm.
about like, they're talking about Jesus. And I was like, I don't know. There's something to Jesus that I keep seeing, but it's because Jesus is not the Jesus that we know.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is somebody that learned like the Hinduism, the Egyptian, the esoteric arts, and then brought them and was trying to teach it to people. And then it wasn't until Rome co-opted that in order to like mass manipulate people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole Emperor Constantine thing, like what they were saying on the podcast is like the Jesus that's the real Jesus, like the in the historical text and like all that stuff, he had truths that are like universal,
Mm-hmm.
right? But but he became weaponized through the Catholic Church.
Sure.
No, but like actually, like historically, they
Mm-hmm.
used.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
just go to Rome, they'll tell you, like the Roman people don't like the what is it, the Vatican, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, why don't you guys like them? And they're like, oh, it's because like they're ruling us through like this ideology. I was like, what are you guys saying, bro? Like the Vatican's like right there, like
Right.
literally in Rome. It's Rome. Within Rome is the Vatican,
Mm-hmm.
and they're
Mm-hmm.
just like trash talking them. I'm like, what? But they're so powerful. And they're like, yeah, because they just like manipulated people into like thinking this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all know it, and you're just like, why is it not common knowledge? But then think about it. It's like Rome extended throughout the world, throughout Europe,
Yeah.
and then like it affected Britain. It affected, I guess, Spain too. So I don't know, but like then that became our Western ideology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like 1,000 years is a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Like in the time frame of like
Yeah.
humanity, right? But has it been 1,000 years since? Has it been 1,000 years since like Rome?
Roman like Catholicism or just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't maybe yeah.
Just look when Emperor Constantine was alive, because he's the one who like pioneered it. And they're talking. I feel it's the Council of Nicaea. I haven't looked into this, but they kept bringing it up. And like the Council of Nicaea is where they like decided what
When was he
scriptures.
born? You said or
Yeah, yeah.
okay, 272 CE.
What's that?
I think
Current
that's
era. It was like AD, right? CE
Yeah.
is like eight.
So after 272 years after Jesus,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So okay. So 272. So
so
like,
that's more than 1,000 years.
oh, it's been more than 1,000 years.
Well, we're 2025.
Yeah, true. Okay.
So
Damn. Wow. Okay. That is, and we're still running that same operating system.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
At least
that's
the
crazy.
Western world. Yeah. But it affected the whole world, right? Through that. So
Yeah. No. Totally. Totally. But that's the crazy part. It's like that's a 2,000-year-old
yeah,
operating system, bro. No, like we're
yeah,
calling it
yeah,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
operating system because it's like, you can upgrade your system, bro.
Hmm.
Just like learn new things.